Well, Kevin Hunter is looking to receive 23 months in back payments for spousal support from Wendy Williams. And a lot of people feel like they could just lose their minds at this point. And that's not all. This man is proposing to have his divorce overturned. OMG, the nerve, after he has had a whole side chick and a baby. Now you want to be married again. Child, sounds like someone is broke. Well, he's broke all right. But let's just get right into breaking down all this tea. So, Kevin recently filed documents requesting that the court vacate and set aside the settlement agreement with Wendy. And he requested the judgment based on what he said was fraud, misrepresentation, and misconduct. And do you want to know where he got the brilliant idea that the court could actually listen to his motion to overturn the divorce from Wendy's BFF, Regina Shell? The thing is, Wendy's BFF, Regina Shell, had submitted an affidavit to a New Jersey court and said that Wendy had $55 million in her Wells Fargo accounts in 2022. She had mentioned in her affidavit how Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morsi, was court appointed and was a stranger to Wendy before she took control of her life in 2022. She actually said that Wendy's case is a Britney Spears thing, only it's worse, since it's not even Wendy's family who has control. She said that at least with Britney Spears, it was her dad, it was her family. But in Wendy's case, this is a woman who is not even family. What Regina was saying is that she really cannot understand the endgame here. Because if it was up to her, Wendy would be surrounded by friends and family right now, not isolated and alone now. According to Regina, while living with Wendy in July 2022, she saw her cumulative bank balance. And she said that Wendy was even considering changing her financial institution and met with Bank of America in December 2022. Regina said she was present during the entire presentation with senior advisors at Bank of America's private banking group, in which they outlined the best products available to Wendy. She also said that after the meeting, Wendy and Wendy's guardian, Sabrina, were all in the same vehicle on their way to a courthouse. Then days later, a dramatic turn took place, and Wendy's publicist claimed to have overheard a conversation between Wendy and her guardian where Sabrina told her there is no money in Wendy's account at the time when Regina was airing her concerns. She also said that she thought Wendy was being forced to keep quiet because the way she knows her friend Wendy would never be this quiet. She said, "I want people to know that Wendy is a real person. And this is not some karma. Talking is Wendy's life. Her whole claim to fame is talking. And I don't think she would be this quiet unless she was forced to be quiet. I haven't spoken to my friend who I spoke to 5 times a day in over a year now. She's somewhere that she can't reach a phone because Wendy can always get to a phone. Because if she could get to a phone, she'd be calling me. It's got a sinister vibe to it. That's what gets me. There's something about it that just doesn't feel right. There's no sign of her beyond a statement that was made, which doesn't sound like her at all. And why hasn't a medical team come forward to talk about her dementia diagnosis? So Kevin cited this affidavit in his latest court documents, alleging that $48 million was fraudulently concealed in the divorce. Of course, Regina couldn't possibly imagine that Kevin would use her words to go after Wendy. But Kev is basically like, oh look, even her best friend said she had millions before the divorce. Very sneaky. Remember, just the other day Kevin was back in court, demanding that all of Wendy's financial records should be revealed. And he said in the court documents on December 8, 2022, I attended a mediation with Wendy's counsel and Wendy's New York court-appointed guardian attorney, Sabrina Morsi. In that mediation, Wendy's counsel and guardian agreed to provide statements to accounts and bank records they claimed to have gotten permission from the New York court to provide. He then said that despite supposed assurances from Wendy's guardian and her attorney that they would provide him with Wendy's bank records, they never materialized. So by December 19th, after reportedly failing to get any further correspondence from Wendy's team, Kevin said he emailed the mediator and copied all parties addressing lack of transparency and bad faith in their lack of honesty and mediation. According to Kevin, he continued, reaching out without further communication from Wendy's team regarding his request for Wendy's financial records. When finally on February 8, 2023, a letter was received from Wendy's counsel stating that the guardian was only providing bank statements for the months of November and December of 2022. Kevin also claimed that the offer to review the 2 months of Wendy's bank statements had other stipulations attached that were not previously discussed or agreed to, adding the letter further stated that I could only review the documents in the mediator's office. This was not the agreement. The agreement was from all the records from the date of dissolution and current. Basically, what this means is that Kevin reopened their divorce case in court after out-of court mediation yielded no results. Apparently, he had payments being made to him based on his marital settlement agreement with Wendy, and he claimed in the court documents that those payments suddenly ceased in January 22 when Wendy's bank, Wells Fargo, locked her out of her accounts and suggested a guardianship. Hearing his argument was that from the time her Wells Fargo accounts were frozen and the time Kevin claimed when he had no money left was just under a year, and according to Kevin, it doesn't make sense that the money disappeared within that year. The assumption is that Wells Fargo, not Wendy, stopped the payments to Kevin that were agreed to in the marital settlement agreement, and the guardian continued on with the payment stoppage after that. Like, if you ask Kevin, Wendy had enough money when they divorced to pay him out in one lump sum at that point, and that she had enough even in the guardianship agreement to pay him out, and he was demanding to see all the financial records, and he wanted the guardian to resume paying his alimony. At the time, Sabrina responded by saying that the payments to Kevin were to terminate if Wendy's yearly income was less than 2 times her yearly income as of February 1st, 2020. The guardian then said that Wendy, who had not shown up to host the Wendy Williams show for her entire last season, stopped being paid her full salary in October of 2021, but Kevin continued to be paid as alimony, according to Sabrina. As a result, Kevin had been unjustly enriched by the receipt of $112,500. The monthly payment was $37,500, so times 3 months is $112,500. And Sabrina wanted Kevin to pay back that money plus interest. Well, when this did not work for Kevin, he actually went back to court again. And in the court documents he filed, he said, "I rely on the severance pay for my living expenses, and having been without this income for 23 months has affected me greatly." He also asked Wendy to immediately pay all severance payments which may be due and owed at the time of his court's order. In addition, Kevin was also seeking to execute documents pertaining to Wendy's after-retirement plan, as he also said in the court documents. "I also respectfully request that the court compel the plaintiff to sign the qualified domestic relations order for the after-retirement plan, or in the alternative, appoint me an attorney in fact, so that I can execute the document if the plaintiff does not sign the document within 7 even days of this court's order. I would not have to file this motion if the plaintiff did not stop my severance payment, and if the plaintiff would have signed the qualified domestic relations order for the after-retirement plan." Well, not long after that, Kevin was back in court questioning whether Sabrina has legal standing to represent Wendy in the litigation due to her becoming Wendy's guardian 2 years after the divorce was finalized. He actually said in court documents he filed, "Miss Morrissey is an attorney in New York, not New Jersey, and though she claims to have been appointed as a guardian in New York, her guardianship does not extend to this court, as there is no guardianship established in New Jersey." Kevin then requested that the court order Wendy to appear on her own behalf, adding the defendant further asks that the court order the plaintiff, Wendy Hunter, to appear before the court herself, considering how Wendy has been struggling with her health. Do you think it